In the previous lesson, you'll remember if you attended, and which is available for you to watch back if you didn't, we started to look at different forms of non-fictional writing. The two we covered then were travel writing, with the example The Explorer's Daughter by Kari Herbert, and newspaper articles, with the example from the Metro article on the Nintendo NX. Today, we're going to look at 3 other forms of writing. These will be letters, articles, and reports and leaflets, which make up lessons 2.1, 2.2, and 2.4 in your course. I'll be going over the course material that you already have here, so hopefully this may be familiar to some of you, and also going into further detail with a few exercises to help you understand these topics a little better. If anyone has any questions, raise your hand or write them in the chat box, and I'll stop and we'll go through these there and then so that nobody moves on unsure. Unit 2 also consists of 2 more lessons which we're not covering today, which are 2.3 autobiography and biography, and unit 2.5 speeches. We'll cover those in the next session, so don't worry about those for now. Letters mainly come in 2 types, formal and informal. Last lesson we looked at formal versus informal or colloquial writing, and this is similar. When attending a formal event, such as a wedding, there are certain rules you have to follow. You will have to wear something that fits with the dress code, act as is appropriate to social etiquette. You may notice the language and tone you use to speak at these events is different than how you would normally speak as well. Similarly, formal letters also have a dress code and certain rules that you have to follow. All formal letters must follow a standard layout. So can anybody give me some examples of what the layout looks like for a formal letter and examples of things that must be included in a formal letter? Can anyone think of what we see in a formal letter or what specifies a formal letter?
Roger, you got your hands up. You probably just unmute.
Yeah, it's something like the address. You know, you have your address, name. It depends whether it's a company one, I suppose, sometimes.
Yeah.
Or if it's, well, saying that, it's more formal, so it would be more of a company one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well done.
You need the address at the top. And
whose address?
Yeah, well, it's not an email, is it? If it's a letter, it would be like a postal address.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Well done, Rodri, thank you.
Yeah, things like that.
Any other examples of things that we see in a formal letter, things that you would expect to see, things that we have to see, the rules that we have to follow? Anybody in the chat? I can't quite see the chat with my screen. Sorry. The date, yes, exactly, the date that you're writing the letter. Yes, well done.
The sender's details.
The sender's details, yeah. So when Rodri said address, I thought that's what he was getting at, but he was right as well. You're both right. So yes, the sender's address and the recipient's address. Well done. Mystery, you've raised your hand. Do you want to unmute yourself?
And also a formal salutation like dear madam, dear sir, or so.
Yeah, well done. Salutation, great word. Yeah, well done. Yeah, formal address. I can't see the chat. I've got a 2 notification, but I daren't open it in case my chat box covers my screen again for you all. I'm so sorry.
Dear X and yours sincerely.
Yes, I see that now. Sorry. Does that come up for everybody when I open that little
box? It doesn't, Claire. If you just
okay.
What you can do, I'm sorry, I'm going to give a little clear. If you hit both the chat and the participants window, they're going to pop up as boxes and you can scoot them over to the side.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're right. You're that's exactly right. Dear
I know it's worrying. You think everyone's going to see your whole screen and it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I don't want to put my boxes on everybody's screen. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're all right. Well done. Thank you so much for your answers. Thank you for joining in, making it interactive. So here is an example. Here's an example of a formal letter. This is obviously a pretend one. It's written from Snow White. A formal letter must include some of these we've already talked about. The sender's name and address, which if you're writing a letter would be your address. You would do this even if the person you're writing to already has your address. Below this, you would include the date. Well done for somebody saying date. The date you are writing and sending the letter. This will all be aligned on the right-hand side of the paper. Then on the left, like Rodri said, you would write the recipient's name and address. This will be the same name and address that you put on the front of the envelope. Below this, there will be a formal address, salutation, well done, beginning dear, and preferably having the correct title and surname of the recipient. If you don't know this or can't find it, you should make an attempt to find it, but if you can't, you can use dear sir, madam to suffice. The bulk of the letter then comes, and no matter what your subject matter is, be it positive or negative, the letter should be written using language that is also courteous and impersonal. This means your letter will be polite, even if it's a complaint, and not making personal or derogatory statements. This is just a factor of a formal letter. It is always courteous and impersonal. At the closing of the letter, you would include a formal sign-off. If you know the recipient's name, then you would sign off with yours sincerely. If you don't know the recipient's name, as with this example, then yours faithfully is used. Sometimes you might have seen this replaced with yours truly, it often is, but this seems to be more American standard than British, so lean towards your faithfully in your IGCSE. You then also leave a space when printing, if this is a typed letter, to add your signature, as it is customary to sign a letter by hand as well as printing your name. However, it is becoming more common to just use a typed name, so this would be down to personal choice and what best suits the audience and the purpose of your letter. So, as with last week with the poll, metaphor or simile, we're going to do another similar one here, formal or informal letter. So hopefully, if I've done this right, you will all see a poll coming up and we will be able to take a vote on whether you think this person that we're addressing, we would choose a formal or we would choose an informal letter. So I'll give you the first example while you can have a think about that while I attempt to set up the poll. Where's my little screeny thing? There we are. Right.
I can do it if you need, Claire. Oh, you did it.
I've
You're
done
great.
it. Is that right?
Perfect. You did it.
So we're writing a letter now to a business partner. Would we use a formal letter or would we use an informal letter? We've got 4 people voted so far. Well done to those. 8 now. Congratulations. We can't see who votes for what. It's completely anonymous, so feel free, jump on in. 10 people voted now. Well done. Is that everybody? Is there a few more? How many have we got in?
Be one more person to vote.
Okay.
Mystery,
11.
Voted in the chat instead of the poll, I think, maybe.
We've
there
got
you
11
go. Perfect, because you and I are the other 2, so that's done.
Well done. So 100% of people went with formal letter on that
Claire,
one.
there you go. Yeah, if you hit end poll, you can click that share results and everyone will see.
Thank you. If that works, can you all see? I've not clicked share results. Yay! Sorry, I'm getting used to this format. Thank you so much for bearing with me. So 100% of you went with a formal letter. And well done. It would be a formal letter. If you're writing to a business partner, it absolutely would be a formal letter. Even if it's a business partner, obviously they know your name and address already. You would still use a formal format. You would use that name and address at the top right hand side. Next example, a complaint to a shop. Let me reload this poll. Hopefully you can see the poll again. A complaint to a shop. Would we use a formal or an informal letter format for this? Got 10 votes so far. 11. There we go. So 10 out of 11 have gone for formal letter. Let's share the results with you. Absolutely formal. Yeah, it's a complaint. It's a shop. You don't know them very well. We would use a formal format. As we said before, it would also be polite and courteous, even though it is a complaint. But yeah, absolutely formal. Well done. Let me reload the poll. Next option, a bank. We're writing to a bank. Formal or informal for a bank? We're all straight in there with the formal. Well done. Well done. 100% on formal there. Everyone's gone for formal. You are absolutely right. Of course, a bank would be formal. The same as a bank would send you a formal letter. Yeah, absolutely. Next option, a good friend. What would you write to a good friend? Formal or informal? $12 votes, 100% on informal. Well done. Yeah, absolutely. A good friend would just be an informal letter. It would be chatty, it'd be colloquial. All the other words we use, informal, colloquial. Next one, a job application. What are we going for a job application? Oh, 100% again. Well done, everybody. You've really cracked this. Yeah, a formal letter for a job application, always. You're trying to impress, aren't you? We're going to go formal. You obviously don't know them very well if you're applying for a job. 100% formal, definitely. Can you see that one? Yeah. Let me relaunch. Next one, a letter of thanks to your local council. What are we going for this one? A letter of appreciation, maybe they've done something good and you want to send them a letter and tell them. Oh, this is splitting some of you. There we go. We've got 11. So 9 have gone with formal letter. And you are absolutely right. Yeah, even though it's a letter of appreciation, even though it's positive, even though it's to your local council, it's still absolutely, yes, it's a formal letter. A letter to a grandparent. How would we write to a grandparent? Some split as well. Well done, that's 11 of you voted. 9 of you have gone informal letter, and 9 of you, the majority, are right. Yes, it would be an informal letter to your grandparent. You may well use formal language in a letter, but because it's your grandparent and you know them, you wouldn't do a formal letter. You wouldn't write your address at the top and then write dear sir, madam, or their titles. You would probably just write dear granny. So that makes it an informal letter, even though depending on your relationship with your grandparents, you may well use formal language. That one I thought would split people, so well done for that one. Thank you for joining in the poll. There will be another one. Let me stop sharing that with you. So thank you very much for joining in again. So I'm going to show you now some sentences which range on a scale, starting with the most formal and ending with informal, to demonstrate how language can range from one to the other. These examples are taken right out of your course information, so you might have already seen these ones before. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Sharp, you are cordially invited to Andrew's 18th birthday party, commencing at 6 p.m. on the 13th of August 2017 at Hamilton Racecourse. So this first one is obviously at the top end of formal here. You don't use words like cordially in day-to-day life, if at all. And while commencing is more used, it's still probably not one you would say with friends and family, which is who you would be asking to a birthday party. Therefore, we can see clearly this one is extremely formal. Being the most formal, this invitation also expresses all of the required information in a concise and uniform manner. It doesn't wait for the recipient to respond before giving the details. Keeping now with the same topic of Andrew's birthday party, we have the second quote. Would you like to join me at Andrew's birthday party next week? Here we still have formal language, however, it's not as formal as the first. The would you like to join me creates a tone of unfamiliarity, seeming to indicate you don't know this person very well, or it could be a mark of respect, for example, spoken to an older relative. We are getting closer to informal here, but it's still unlikely you would use this sentence to your own close family and friends. The next sentence is, do you want to go to Andrew's birthday party tomorrow? This is getting into much more familiar territory here, and is even more informal than the previous question, but is still an official invitation. It is a short and simple question, and the do you is much more direct and less polite than the previous would you. While being informal, it still doesn't use any colloquial or slang language, nor does it have any contractions in it, which is 2 words joined together. Therefore, this could be used in a number of contexts and with a varied audience, ranging from formal to very informal. And lastly, we have, hey, you doing much tonight? Let's go to Andrew's party. This is obviously very informal, colloquial, using the contraction let's instead of let us and the colloquial hey instead of hello. It also misses words out, such as the are in you doing much tonight, and therefore seems to indicate this is spoken to somebody who is well known and either a close friend or family member. So imagine now you've been tasked with inviting people to Andrew's 18th. Maybe he's your son or your brother or your friend or nephew. So it's your job now to make sure that people come and make this party a success for Andrew. So we really want everyone to respond positively to this. But the guests at an 18th birthday range from school friends to family. So you really have to bear in mind the correct way now to invite everybody. So who do you imagine we're inviting with each of these quotes here? So you can put your hand up and we'll let you speak, or you can chat in the chat box. But what about the top one? Who can you imagine we're inviting to Andrew's party with language like this? Anybody want to take a guess? Workmates. So Andrew's workmates, you would be inviting Andrew's workmates. Would you use the dear Mr. and Mrs. Sharp, you're cordially invited? Maybe you would to your workmates. That's impressive.
Don't know, maybe depending on how close you were with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes you're close with workmates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if it was a wedding, you would absolutely use that to everybody, wouldn't you? I think that's the
Yeah.
only time I've ever used the word cordially was in my own wedding invitation. So yeah, you would absolutely use that in a wedding to everybody, but maybe not on 18th. Someone's SMC, you said boss. Yeah, yeah. Maybe if you were trying to impress your boss and you were inviting your boss, you would use the most formal. Yeah, I like that idea. Maybe grandparents as well. You know, I know we said before you'd use an informal letter, but as an invitation, they might appreciate that. In-laws of Andrew from the party organizer, maybe a sister. Yeah, I like that answer, Mark. Yeah, in-laws of Andrew's. Yeah, so someone that's not really familiar. So yeah, I think we're all agreed that this is not a close person that we're inviting here, is it? So what about if we move down to, hey, you doing much tonight? Let's go to Andrew's party. Who are we inviting with that one? The bottom one.
One of your best mates.
Yeah, someone really close. One of your best mates or Andrew's best mates?
Well, both.
Yeah, it could be both. Yeah, you would still talk to your friends like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Instagram, Mark says, yeah, you could put something like that on Instagram, couldn't you? Hey, you doing much tonight? Should we go to this party? Yeah, it's very last minute, that one, isn't it? Could be family. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you'd say this to Andrew's mum, dad, sisters, wouldn't you? Yeah, well done, everybody. You've really got the gist of that one. Good stuff. Now, you can see that none of these invitations were incorrect. None of them were right. None of them were wrong. They were just different. They spoke to their own audience. We talked about that in the last lesson. We talked about audience. And always remember each form of writing you see, whether it's a memoir like last week or an invitation like this example, all of them have their own purpose and audience. Obviously, the purpose here is to inform and invite. And we've just worked out some of the potential audiences for each of these as well. So informal letters. Informal letters are much simpler to learn about and easier to write, so this section will be much shorter than the previous. Informal letters are written to someone that you are familiar with. This could be a friend, relative, or close acquaintance. Your relationship with this person could range from quite formal to very informal. Informal letters do not follow a strict set of rules regarding layout, language, and tone. You are free to structure the letter however you want and write in whatever tone you please, always bearing in mind the audience of this letter. Informal letters always address the recipient by name. However, here you aren't obliged to use their full title, and anything ranging from Dear Granny to Hey Up Dave is completely acceptable. We would also like to see an informal ending to these types of letters, possibly ending with Love you, Dad, or See you tomorrow from Jill, something really informal. It wouldn't be the yours sincerely or yours truly. You should usually still include your address in the top right corner for the recipient to respond to. However, if this is a close family member or friend that you know already has your address, then you could skip this, as there are no hard and fast rules for informal letters. You wouldn't include the recipient's address at all on the left-hand side, though, for any informal letter. So, connotative or denotative, please forgive me if I'm saying these words wrong. These are one of these words I've seen written down more than I've heard them pronounced. So I'm going to say connotative, or denotative. Please bear with me on the words. Feel free to have a look at the proper pronunciation afterwards, but I'm going to go with connotative and denotative. So denotative language, this tells you what happens without adding meaning or suggesting feelings. So this is the one that we said would be used in a formal letter with a complaint. You would just tell, or anything, you would just tell what happens without giving any sort of emotional suggested feelings to it. Whereas connotative language simultaneously describes something while conveying an opinion or interpretation. That should say Anne, my apologies. So here again, we're going to do a poll. Let me give this a go. I'm going to put some things up on the screen and we are going to, oh, sorry, I've shared the wrong one with you. We're going to take a vote on whether it's connotative or denotative. So let me launch this, but don't vote yet. Hopefully you can see that. So the first one here, Susan walked into the room. Susan walked into the room. Is that denotative or is that connotative language? Bearing in mind the example, the descriptions we've given here. So connotative describes something while conveying opinion and interpretation. Denotative just tells you what happened straight up without any meanings or feelings. So we've got 8 votes so far and it's split. Does anyone else want to give it a go? Oh yeah, one more to go. Yeah, well done. So let me share the poll with you. So 9 out of 10 of you went with denotative, and yes, it's just telling you plain up what happened. Susan walked into the room. That is just what happened. There is no opinions, there's no conveying or anything. We don't know how she's feeling in that. That is just a plain sentence. Let me reload. Next one. Susan stormed into the room. What are we going with? Susan stormed into the room. What sort of language is this? Got some boats coming in. Split again. That's 12 of you. I'll share it. So 11 out of 12 went with connotative. Yes, it is. It's describing an opinion or an interpretation. So what we can interpret from Susan stormed into the room is she's in a terrible mood. She's angry. She's storming into the room. So the same thing is happening in both of these sentences. Susan is entering a room using her legs, but we are getting a completely different message from Susan stormed into the room. Next one. Susan came into the room. Ooh, Susan came into the room. Oh, 10, 11 of you. And we've got no split this time. 11 out of 11 of you have got it right. Denotative. Yes, it is. Susan came into the room. Same as walked. It is just simply saying what happened here. No expression whatsoever. There's nothing to be deciphered. Let's have a look at the last one. Susan trudged slowly into the room. You're going to all get this one right. I know you are. All right, split. 12 of you, well done. Connotative, yes, it is, because we can interpret something from this. Trudging slowly, maybe she's upset, maybe she's in a lazy mood, she's trudging around the house. Whatever it is, we can gather something from this. This is conveying something else to us that it isn't just saying. So yeah, well done. I'll share those results with you for the last one. Thank you for joining in again. You make it really fun when we all enjoy it. Thank you so much. We're moving on now to articles. We've covered letters. We are moving on to articles. So there are many different types of articles, lots and lots of them. And we learned about one type last lesson, which was the Metro article on the Nintendo NX. The term article is an umbrella term, though, comprising of many different types of article under one heading. For example, article can refer to a piece in a broadsheet, a tabloid, a magazine, a news website, a gossip column, book review column, a music magazine, a sports website, we did that last week as well, and a movie review site, and lots more. They can be about any and every topic, from global politics to gardening tips. Within these individual sections, there are even further distinctions. For example, an article can be subjective, where the writer gets involved and shares their opinion with the reader, like with a review. Or they can be objective, where the author stays detached and simply states the information with no opinion. There are no rules or limits on what an article can be written about. This would depend on the purpose and audience, which we talked about last lesson. But there are certain structural attributes which can be found in most examples of articles. One of the attributes that all articles have is a headline. These should summarize the main point of the article, while also grabbing a reader's attention. Many will use larger or bold writing for the headline in order to grab attention as well. They often use idioms, which is a group of words regularly and commonly put together, such as over the moon or back on track. They can be short or long, depending on their purpose. They can be informative, using key quotations from within the article, or they can be funny and involve a pun. They can be used to elicit an emotional response from a reader, for example, anger or sadness, or they can be bland and simply give information in a straightforward way. So we have another activity here. I have written on the left here different types of headlines. We've got informative, a humorous pun, a quotation, fear and intrigue, a positive review, and a negative review. I am going to put up examples of each of these. I'm going to put up a headline, and each headline will fit with one of these descriptions. I will reload the poll. Hopefully I will. And we've got choices 1 to 6. I didn't write down these again because Robin does these polls for me and I didn't want to give her too much work to do. So we've got choice 1, choice 2, choice 3, choice 4, choice 5, choice 6, which correlates with the headlines here. So if I launch this poll for you, hopefully you can see that, and then we'll get going with our first headline. So, fast the parcel. Post office ruined Christmas surprises by putting stickers on presents revealing what's inside. Is that an informative headline? Is it a humorous pun headline? A quotation headline? Is it a fear and intrigue headline? A positive review or a negative review? We've got 1 vote so far. What are people going to go with? 2 votes? Oh, it's split this one. This is interesting. I bet by the end you're getting it all right. Tens, one more to vote. You don't have to, I'm not going to make you. Okay, so out of 6 choices, 5 of them have options, 5 of them have votes. So fast the parcel is an attempt at a humorous pun. It's a joke on pass the parcel, which I would say pass, so it doesn't make sense to me. But fast the parcel, yeah. So this is a headline that was taken from The Sun, and they often go with humorous pun headlines. So humorous pun, the 2 people that voted choice 2, you were correct. Well done. Let's reload this. So that's 1 option gone now, so it should be easier. Number 2, Rogue One, a Star Wars story review, a sleek addition to the fleet. What are we going with for this one? Well, we know it's not choice 2. A Star Wars story review, a sleek addition to the fleet. Votes are coming in. Well done. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Oh, this one's split, but not as much at all. Well done. Thank you. I'll end the poll and share the results. So choice 1 and choice 5 are the 2 votes there. Actually, this one kind of gives it away. It says a Star Wars story review, so we know it's a review, but a sleek addition to the fleet tells us it's a positive review. They've enjoyed this. They've given it away in the title. That is also another example of a headline where the author has given their own personal opinion on this, which is exactly what a review is. You relaunch this poll. Next one. House of Horrors, Sadie Hartley's 5-bed Lancashire home, where she was brutally stabbed to death in cattle prod murder by love rival Sarah Williams, is sold for $500,000. Which one are we going for? Informative, quotation, fear and intrigue, or negative review? 2 votes so far. What does everyone think? 3 votes. This one's split too. That's interesting, really interesting. 10 votes. Thank you so much, everybody. Oh, 12 votes now. Well done. Let me share the results with you. So that one was split between choice 1, choice 4, and choice 6, but choice 4 had the most votes. And you are right, fear and intrigue. Yeah, again, this one's trying to elicit a response, an emotional response from us. And the emotional response they're trying to elicit here is fear, but also intrigue. You know, you want to click on this, you want to see more about this person brutally stabbed, because that's the kind of people that we are. Next one. I can't say this name. Betjeman's beautiful poems fall flat in sand in the sandwiches. Apologies if I butchered that name.
You got it right, Betjeman.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Betjeman's beautiful poems fall flat in sand in the sandwiches. Sounds brilliant. Split again. How interesting. 7 of you have voted. Does anyone else want to give this one a go? We don't know who's voted. We don't know what you voted for. Nobody's going to be calling you up. 11 votes. Thank you so much. This one's really split. Well done. Let me share this one with you. But the most of these went for choice 6. 5 out of 12 of you voted for negative review. Absolutely. Yeah, this is a review. We're talking about Betjeman's beautiful poems and they're falling flat. So obviously this person did not enjoy this. It is a negative review. Thank you very much. We're running out of options here now. So hopefully these are getting easier. Failure to plan for Brexit talks collapsing gross negligence, Foreign Affairs Committee warns. All the votes coming in. Interesting. They're split again. 12 of you. Thank you so much. Let me share this. So choice 1 won with that one. 9 out of 12 of you went with choice 1 that it is informative. It absolutely is informative. but it includes a quotation in this headline. They don't all. This is the only one that has included a quotation. The gross negligence is a quotation here. Obviously, they are quoting somebody that said that before. We'd find out more in the article, but for now, they've put it in the headline. So that one was number 3, quotation. So well done to the 3 people that voted for that one. We have one more now, and even though we know what it is, we'll give it a go anyway. Let you all get it right. Oh, I can't see this one. It's underneath my screen. I think it's Rupert Murdoch confirms 11.7 billion Sky bid. I think that's what it says. What's everyone going for? How is this one split? We got 8 votes. Well done. 9, 10 votes. Oh, it's really split. Are you having me on? Brilliant, good job. Yeah, choice 1 won. Absolutely. This one is just informative. Yeah, they've gone really basic. They've just gone informative. There's no emotion in this. There's no quotation. There's no fear and intrigue. It was just they've gone straight for the facts. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in again. Mr. Eve, you've still got your hand raised. Do you have something to say?
Yes. On first the parcel there, could you explain to me in what way can it not be informative? Because I thought it is informative.
It was the bit in blue, so it's the bit that comes first. This is what the Sun does quite often. So farce the parcel is a pun on pass the parcel. That was their attempt at a joke. They do this quite a lot in the more gossipy tabloid newspapers. They will make a pun. So you are right, it is informative in what it's saying, but they have also included a pun in there. So for you to, because that one came first, to have gone informative, I wouldn't, that's not necessarily wrong. You are right that that's informative, but it was the only one in those that included the pun. But it came first, so I can completely understand that. But yeah, hopefully that's explained why it was the pun.
In the circumstance, we just consider the bold headline and not the subtitles.
Oh, well, it's the whole headline taken as a whole. So that one did have a pun in it. It was at the start and then it became informative afterwards, but none of the other ones had a pun at all in them. But yeah, it came first. So that one, if that one had come last, it would have been easier to decide, because you would have known that no puns had come before. I'll bear that in mind for the future. I'll bear all the comments in mind. I'll make sure to leave some dead space too, so we can move
Claire,
the polls
that's
out of the way.
Can I add something to that? Because I think that Mystery, you've raised a really good point. That's about the bigger issue about test taking. And sometimes you're going to be faced with examples and that might fit an answer, a couple answers. So you're always looking for like the best fit in these things, right? So sometimes you might narrow it down and you're not sure. So you have to kind of try to figure out, well, which one of these does it actually, have the best fit over? Which one does it most agree with? And I'm not sure, Claire, I can't remember if things are sometimes weighted that actually you can get a higher percentage on one answer and then you can still get some points on a different answer, which it might still kind of match, but not as well.
Yeah, so Daniel's also commented on this.
So you might put in something like informative and still get some points for it. But the humorous one is the best answer of them because that pun is embedded in it.
Yeah.
So sometimes you need to just take a pause and especially, or you maybe mark something even and come back to it and have a think about it for a minute.
Yeah.
So thank you for asking that question, because it's a really good point about test taking in general.
Yeah, Daniel's also commented the overlap between some of the categories. You're right. So informative got votes on, I think, all of those, because it always gives information. All headlines give information. It doesn't matter what else they convey. They do all give information. So you're right that all of these were informative. They're all telling us something. The one on here that was informative was actually meant to be informative, doesn't have anything else added to it though. I think that's the point. And like Robin said, these will be weighted. If in an exam you said that these were informative, you are right, they are given information. But it was the other ones that weren't spotted in anything else. So like the fear and intrigue in the House of Horrors, it is informative. Lots of you voted for informative, but it's the only one that includes fear and intrigue, and the fear and intrigue was the most prevalent in that one. So I hope that makes sense, but please don't be put off from answering or asking anything, because we're all learning here. No one can see what you vote for, so I really hope that you still carry on voting for the polls, and I hope that you get some use. But absolutely let us know if anything could do with updating in the future lessons. Thank you. So other than the headline, what other features do most articles have? How can we spot them when we see them? Well, most articles also have a subheading. This can be at the start, below the heading, or they can be periodically throughout the article to define individual sections. The subheadings that come at the start will often be longer than the headline itself, giving more information and trying to catch more readers' attention, but still giving a lot of detail in a short space. This information will often be repeated in the article's main body. The subheadings that come throughout the article separate a long article into more manageable chunks and give clear indications on what will be in each section. So if a reader needs to, they can just read that part that interests them the most. Quotations are often included in articles too, primarily as a form of evidence. By using quotations, the author shows us that they have done research in this particular area, and this isn't all their personal view. Journalists will often use quotations to give their articles validity. When tackling a controversial topic, quotations showing different opinions may be given so the article seems objective and unbiased. Introductions. This is a vital piece of any article as it sets out what will be discussed in the main body of the text. It can often be the most difficult to write because it has to be concise but also engaging and exciting. If it's not, the reader will just move on to another article. Finally, we move on to the main body of the text, the content. After all the headlines, subheadings, and introductions are done, we get now to the substance of the article, which tells us the information we want to read about. This will take many forms depending on the type of article this is, from any number of the options we discussed before, but it's likely they will all include information based on who, what, when, where, why, and how. So here is an example report taken directly from your course information. I won't read all this out to you. You don't have to read it. This is just a layout example. We'll be pointing out the key features, but this is taken exactly from your Cloudport information. You already have this. So this is a pretend report recording the information gathered at the business meeting for a comic book store, Jinx Comics. It has all the important information needed, such as the date the meeting was held and the attendees, and then the points up for discussion, as well as a rundown on what came up when each of these points were discussed. You may have seen a report like this before, or you might use these for your job, and you may know them under their other name, minutes, which is how they're frequently referred to when used in a business meeting like this. Whereas an article can be subjective or objective, reports are consistently objective and contain no opinions at all. One similarity between reports and articles, however, is their use of subheadings. You can see them here in bold, and these are a key feature of reports. They neatly organise a report and signal to the reader which information is contained in which section. This report, as with many of them, utilises bullet points to clearly lay out the important information. These could also be numbered points depending on the format chosen by the author. Lastly, we can see here the values and statistics brought up at this meeting. Depending on the meeting, this may or may not be a factor, but often this can be a feature in reports. Values and statistics can be used as evidence to support an argument and can show that your report is not subjective, as it contains unbiased facts and reports obtained from studies and analysis. So can anyone think of any jobs that might require you to write reports like this, or any reasons they might be written and used? Does anybody use these in their job? Or can you think of a job that these might be used?
Customer relations.
Yeah, you might all sit down at the end of the month and have a meeting, and you would write a report on how that meeting went, wouldn't you? Yeah, well done.
Well, I work in customer relations anyway. That's so.
So do you have meetings like this then? Do you write reports?
I don't work. I think it's more managers probably that write reports.
Yeah.
But I'd say the managers. But we do. The main thing I do is write letters.
Yeah.
And answer complaints. Really, I do a few phone calls, but I do emails and letters.
Right, you're not on the report side of things, but yeah, you're right. That sort of job area, they would definitely write reports.
But yeah, that's sort of what I meant was office sort of work and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's more I'd say it's more managerial, perhaps.
Yeah, so this example they've given here looks like a comic book store, and it looks very much like everybody in the comic book store has come together to the meeting. But yeah, you're right. It would normally be managers and stuff and office staff. Yeah, completely. Well done, Rodri. Thank you for sharing. So let's move forwards. Leaflets. Leaflets are something we're all familiar with, from having them posted through our letterbox to picking them up in shops. You might remember making these in school as well, or was that just my school that made us write leaflets for everything? Leaflets, like articles, don't have a strict set of rules to follow and can look however best suits their purpose. And what might their purposes be? I have some leaflets here actually, because maybe if other people are like me, but my children are obsessed with these. Obsessed. You know, when you go to a restaurant or a pub and they have that little stand of leaflets for activities. We live somewhere quite touristy, so my kids are obsessed with these. They're like propaganda for children, and the problem with leaflets is they look amazing. They make everything look amazing. So we've been to these places 100 times. My kids are bored of these places, but they'll see these leaflets and they'll go, "Mummy, it looks amazing, should we go again?" I'm like, "You're bored of them." So yeah, leaflets. You might have got a load recently for the election. They might have all come through your letterbox. So can anyone think of any other purposes, any other time we see leaflets, any other reasons we might get leaflets? And please tell me if you had to do these in school all the time, or if it was just my school.
You get like different healthcare services do a lot of leaflets.
Yes, healthcare ones. Yeah, you're
you
right.
get for like different departments and services and what have you. And like sort of, I live in Derbyshire, so
yeah,
partner
I'm from
is
Derbyshire.
a mental health nurse, and she's involved in a lot of that kind of stuff, like with
you're right.
in hospitals, you know. And just
you see those a lot, don't you? In doctor's surgeries, there might be a leaflet on cold sores or a leaflet on the flu. Yeah, you definitely get them in healthcare settings. Well done. The chat, advertising, elections, 100% elections. We've all just had those through our door, I bet. Advertising, yeah. What sort of things might they be advertised, do you reckon? You are definitely right. Definitely advertising leaflets. They're everywhere, aren't they? Food, always food. Yeah, always takeaways. Well done, Lisa. Yeah, food. Anything else?
I used to live in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And during the summer, the whole city's covered in them.
Yeah,
Stupid festival.
Horrible.
I can't in polite company share with you the badges that my colleagues who worked at the National Museum of Scotland wore as they walked through the city center, but they said something like, "F off, I live here."
Oh,
is that formal? Is that formal or informal?
Yeah.
It's colloquial.
Formally, informally.
What, is that on a leaflet? What leaflet was that?
Yeah.
What's that?
What leaflet was that?
Leaflets?
Oh, I can imagine there's millions and millions of leaflets.
They hand out flyers for all the shows during the festival.
Yeah, it's small.
And they're just littered everywhere, and people walk around and free comedy, free this, free that, come to our show, and it's madness.
It is madness. But thank you, Robin, for also saying flyers, because we also know these as flyers, don't we?
Oh,
leaflets, flyers,
I'm being
and
American.
Yeah, sometimes we might say brochures as well. So you know when you get. When you get the stands of these, sometimes there's a thick, posh brochure, isn't there? But yeah.
My favorite was I grew up in Florida, and we'd stop at all the rest stops, and the rest stop would be full, and I would fill the car with everywhere I wanted to go.
That's my kids all the time. Seriously, this is just what I have in my office here. They're full of them. Daniel, I work in the city and get it all the time on the way into work. Club nights out. No one hands me ones for club nights out. Do I look like a loser? Nobody hands me ones for cool places. Oh, Daniel must look cool. Daniel's looking cool. Yeah, I remember those ones for club nights. Yeah, you get a free entry with it and stuff, don't you? Absolutely. Thank you very much. Free shot with this leaflet. Yes, Roger.
Well, I don't drink, so I used to, but I stopped.
Well, they must think I look boring, and I never get ones for free clubs. Thank you very much. So let me give some examples here. We might have already spoken about these. So local or general elections, yeah, absolutely. Charities as well, yeah, we get them a lot for charities, don't we? New restaurants or businesses if somewhere's opened up nearby. Highlighting specific deals or promotions. Lisa was right. Food, always takeaways. Events, Robin gets accosted with the ones from events. Health information, well done, Mark, for saying that one. And advertising attractions, the children's propaganda that my children love. Thank you. So let's have a look. Some features of leaflets. Can anybody fill in the blanks? What could these be? Put your hand up, say it in the chat box. So features of leaflets. Leaflets include bold and assertive what? Begins with H. It's like hangman this. Headlines, Alfie. Well done. Yes.
Someone beat me to it.
Headlines. Well done, Sempsey. Sorry, Rodri. Lisa's got a thumbs up. Sorry, Lisa, I'd missed you. I would have called on you. So bold and assertive headlines. These are going to go in the same way. Okay. Use of the P word, we and you, to form a connection with the reader. What could that one be? Use of the we and you. So what are we and you? Mark, straight in. Pronouns. Yes, boom. Porpoise, Peter. No, not porpoise. No. No, good guess. So yeah, use of the pronouns we and you to form a connection, you know, we love it here, you should come here, you should vote for us. Yeah, definitely. Short but informative, what? Shout out or put it in the chat box. Short but informative. Oh, no answers yet. Daniel, well done. Well done, Daniel. Sentences. Short but informative sentences. Yeah, no one's reading a lot on leaflets. They're short, but they give a lot of information away. Yeah, well done. Sentences mystery, well done. Yeah. Use of facts and, oh, I didn't give you the first letter here. Oh, I'm mean. Can anyone get this one? Use of facts and
statistics.
Well done. Thank you, Lisa. Use of facts and statistics. Absolutely. So can I see any facts here? It's the largest visitor centre. That is a fact. Camping and caravan, yet they're facts. There'll often be statistics, you know, especially with the vote in, 30% of money increased in local councils, things like that. Yeah, often facts and statistics, things that we can see and take in information straight away. Last one. At the bottom, there may be contact what? No first letter.
Information.
Well done. Absolutely, Lisa. Yeah, at the bottom there may be contact information. This one definitely does. It's got all the contact information at the bottom, so you can find out where you're going, find out how to speak to them. Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much. So some of the features often found in leaflets that it might be useful to know are here. Sorry, no, it's not. These are the answers. Well done. We got all those right. Key information stands out and will be found early on. The best to convey the message to readers. This might be something like the election dates on political leaflets, promotions on the takeaway leaflet, or the address of a new business. The use of imperatives is also common. These are sentences that give an instruction or a command, such as vote May the 5th or spread the word. It will tell you directly to do something. Catchy slogans may also be used in leaflets to grab attention and to stay in the reader's mind. These can be things such as take back control or save a life, give blood. And repetition of information. The repetition of information is also a device commonly used to ensure the key information is read by the reader, and because repetition helps people to remember. You may see repeated important dates, exciting words like fun and great, or instructions such as vote or give blood. Whatever the key message of the leaflet is will be the thing that the author repeats here for information. So what have we learned here in Unit 2? We've learnt the differences between formal and informal letters, the rules and layouts of each, the difference between connotative and denotative language, the different kinds of articles you can get and what they usually include, how reports are laid out and what they are used for, and the features of leaflets and what they are used for. Well, thank you very much for coming to the Unit 2 lesson. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found it useful. I hope you got something out of it. Thank you so much to everybody that joined in, and thank you even more to the people that gave feedback. It's really important. I make these lessons. I'm learning as I go. So yeah, I'll bear those in mind for next lesson, hopefully improve. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Beta. That's very sweet.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Mark. Good to see you again. Thank you so much for joining in.